And good morning, young art students, and welcome back, or good evening, or good lunchtime, or whatever time it is. I hope it is good for you. But if you are drawing, then it is good. So today, as promised, I'm going to show you how to draw the body. The last video I did, I showed you guys how to draw clothes. But what good are clothes if you have nothing to put them on? So let's get started with drawing the body. First, let me fix my angry camera because it loves to do that. Go in and out of focus. All right, let's get started. I had to have a little talk with the camera. It shouldn't do it again. All right, so when drawing the body, like everything else that you see, you use shapes. If you ever look at a drawing book or see another video and they don't tell you about shapes, then they're not telling you the whole story. Everything starts out from a shape. If you look around, you'll see different shapes: squares, rectangles, your table that you're drawing on, the pencil that you're using, the paper. Everything is a shape, so you must master those shapes before you can really draw anything. And then if you look at something in its shape form, it will be easy for you to draw. So when you take the body and we break it down into its basic shapes, it becomes really easy for you to draw. So the one good thing about this is if you're putting clothes on your figure that you're drawing, then it becomes easier because you don't have to put detail into the body. So let's break it down to its basic shapes so that you can understand how to draw quickly and easily. All right, first thing you want to do is we do the chest. We're going to go a square like this. And hopefully you can see that. I'm using my red. You're going to do your waist, which is just a rectangle. And then when you do your hips, you're going to do almost just another square, but you're going to turn it into that upside down house. Now, if that's hard for you to do, just do this and then put a triangle on top of that. And it's just that upside down house that you already know how to draw, because all artists start out by drawing houses. I don't know why. Like that. So that's your whole body right there. Just those three shapes. So if I put my head on, which is just an oval, like that. I put my neck on, two lines going straight down. Now I work on my shoulders. I'll take two circles right here and right here. Like that. So the circles are going to come right underneath that line, not above it or in the center. It's going to be right underneath that line. Then I take a rectangle or a cylinder. Actually, it's going to be a cylinder because if I use this, and we'll use this over and over again, if I take it and it's flat like that, it could easily be just a rectangle. The only time a rectangle is a cylinder is, let me do this. Here is my rectangle, just the same as this. So if I turn it to the side and it is round, that makes it a cylinder. If I turn this to the side and it is round, it is a cylinder. If I turn this to the side and it is square, then you have your rectangle. So that's the difference. So your arms are going to be cylinders, even though they might be straight to the side and you can't see the opening, you just know that they are cylinders. So, and here's the hard part for a lot of young artists. You don't want this to come down. You round about the length of your belt. Let's just say this hips. Use it as a belt. Let's just say that's your belt. You want it to come right there, and at the bottom or at the roof of the house, you want the other part to come there. Just about that. Any longer, and then your arms are too long. Any shorter, your arms are too short. And the same with your legs. So a lot of times the books will say, put another circle here. I usually don't. You can. I don't, because it's going to get covered up or it's going to get erased, especially with the arms. So that's one way you can tell if your body is too long, by having your arms, doing your arms, and your arms are way, way, way long. Then you know, oh, okay, something's not right. Either this is too long, too much waist, or too much of the hips. So, but this is a practice thing. This is your first time. This is practice. So when you do this cylinder right here, that connects to this circle, I want you to think about this. Think of this circle here, this little ball here, and it's connected to this cylinder. So this cylinder is going to basically rotate around the ball. The ball is not going to move. The cylinder is going to rotate around it. So just remember that. So if this arm goes up, basically you want to keep this in the center of that ball or that circle. So let's erase this just because now that you know the length of an arm. So remember that ball, and let me use this little one here. It's a little easier. It sticks on. It's just going to rotate around that ball. Okay? So you're going to have this, and you're going to have this. And if you want to draw the circle, you can, because it's the same thing. It's going to rotate around that. So if you have this, it doesn't work. If you have this ball and this one on your joint, it's just going to rotate around it. Sorry, I had to put that back. So, and your legs are going to be, oh, and one thing about this is not a cylinder. This is going to be more a triangle shape, because your arm at this point is fatter than it is at that point. So you want to bring it in like that. You want to make it more narrower at the wrist. So the legs are going to be, again, it's going to be your rectangle, except you can connect them here. We're not going to put any circles or any balls right here. So you're going to do that, and you can put your circle or the ball right there, and then you have the other half, and the same thing as you did with this is going to be like this. You're going to bring it down narrow, and this is going to be just as long as that. You can't have one long like this and one short like that. That makes it look like he's walking. It's going smaller, going back. And we'll get into doing motion later. Just know that this has to be the same length as this, and this has to be the same length as that. Now, if it's too long, then you can always erase it and make it a little shorter. But for now, we're going to do this. The circle or the ball. And I'll bring that up a little bit because that is a little too long. And then when you do a foot, you're going to do half of a triangle. Here's your triangle. Just chop that off, pull it apart. So you have this and that. So that's just pulling that triangle apart. So you're going to do straight down from the leg. So basically you're going to go straight down, straight down, straight down. Here's the foot. You're going to go over. So we're chopping the top of this off. It's going to look like this. Like that. I mean, you can have it pointy, but if he's wearing pants or socks or something like that, you won't see this. So you can either keep it pointy like that, or you can just chop it off, whichever is easy for you. So we're going to go flat. So this is kind of like drawing the L, the letter L. And you draw it in reverse. And then you just bring it out like this. And that's your foot. Now for the hands, what we're going to do is we're going to do a square just for the time being, and we'll get into doing hands. He's a little long there, taking up a lot of paper. Now that's how you do the body. Now, there's another way to do this, which is even more quicker, but I wanted to show you, you're using shapes, basically squares, rectangles. This was a rectangle with a triangle, cylinder, which is just a rectangle. That rectangle coming down almost like a cone shape almost. And the same with the arms. So your oval, your head is your oval, and your neck could be just a square as well, or the rectangle as well. Square, more square. So the one thing you want to do, you want to round these off. You want to keep these more rounded, these edges rounded. But when we put clothes on the character, you won't see that anyway. So let me show you a quicker way to do that. And let's say you don't want to do a tall man. I'm going to do a kid. next to this guy, but I'm going to show you the easier way to do that. Easier but harder. You have to be able to see it, to do it in your head. So erase this. Same thing, we're just going to draw this as one piece. So let's just say about right here. We're going to go all the way down and then draw that. So it's kind of like drawing a big tall house upside down. If you had your big house upside down, then wherever you want to kind of keep this right, because you see how I have one lower than the other one, you want to kind of keep that right, because you throw it all off. Keep it round, keep all of it round. You don't really want any points on your person. He's not a sharp person. So let's do this. So let's just say where I want to put that belt. I'm going to put that belt right here, which is just the 2 lines. And that's basically your waist. Or your hips. No, this is your hips, that's your waist. Like that. So we have this right off the bat. Quick and simple. Just this, the pointy tall house, and that. Then, as I say, wherever you want to put that belt, you put that there. So now, again, we put the head. Now, if I'm doing somebody's kid, his head is going to be a lot bigger. As you grow, your shoulders get a little bigger and your head stays basically smaller. It's not going to get smaller, it kind of grows to a point, but you can go to the gym and you can work out and get big shoulders, but your head will stay the same. Your neck will get big, but your head will stay the same. So when you're younger, you have a bigger head and a smaller neck. Okay, same thing. Put your circle here, and then you put your arm. Remember, it's going to come down to about here. If it doesn't look right, if it looks too short, then you may have to move this up or down some, or make the whole thing smaller or bigger. Right there. And you can put the extra circle or ball right there. And remember, it's going to come down to the top of the point, the other part, and it's going to come in almost like to a cone. And then that cylinder is going to ride on that circle. So it's going to be in the center of it. And you're going to have to just kind of gauge how long this is if you're not drawing it down. And then if you choose to, you can, but a lot of times I don't, and I'll show you why you don't have to later. Like that. And then, of course, the legs. Remember, this is going to come into a cylinder. This should be the same size. Coming into almost a point, and then your feet straight down, coming out and in, coming out, half of a triangle and in. And there you have a quick and easy body. Now, remember the hands, we're going to do square for now. Now, if you wanted to do a girl, say, oh, I don't want to do a girl, I want to do a woman. So if I'm going to do a girl, I will just, instead of having it straight down, remember, we're going to cover all this up with clothes, so it doesn't really make a difference, but I'm going to bring it in to the waist and then back out. Into the waist and then back out. And then that gives you more of the shape of the girl. The same way with the man, you're going to bring it in and back out. And we'll change the shoulders later, but when we're putting clothes on it, it doesn't really matter. So that's the only difference between doing the male body and the female body. Doing a quick male and female body is just straight down or bring it in at the waist, at the belt, and then back out. So I'm going to keep these as guys just because I'm a man. So I'm going to put this back. And it doesn't always have to be straight. You can give it a little curve just because. But as I say, if you're putting clothes on it, it's going to cover up all of these extra lines. Remember, you want to keep all of this round. Like I could have brought this down just a little bit more, but that's being a little picky about it. So now that you know how to do that, practice that. So again, as I said, if we take the rectangle and we turn it a little bit, we'll know if it is truly a rectangle or if it is a cylinder. And that's going to be the same when you take the person and you turn him. And when you do a person, you should always do a center line. Center line, that tells you how that person is facing. So if I take this right here and I take that center line and I put it over, that tells me that this person is turning. So if I'm turning my character, first I'll use my center line. I will put my circle halfway right here, and then I'll take that circle and put it into the body like this. And then the only hard part is you're going to have to curve this in, because this is the waist right here. This is his side going to his back, and then this is his waist, and this is his legs or her legs. So other than that, you have the same process, except when you turn, one is going to be in front of the other, one is slightly going to be in front of the other. So like just say this is the legs. When I turn my character, legs together, when I turn the character or drawing, one will start to come in front of the other. So you won't see this much leg. The more I turn it, the less of the blue you will see, because now the person is turning sideways. So with this character, it's about like this. This being the center line, this is why you should always have a center line. That being the center line facing straight at you. But as I turn it, that center line goes over and you'll see more of this leg, less of that leg. So it's going to be like this: oval, oval or rectangle. Then you have your circle, circle, and then that almost cone again, which is going to be in front of that one. And you have your foot again with the triangle and the triangle. Then your arm. Remember, it's going to come down to that waist or the belt. You can put the circle, you don't have to, and the other one's going to come down here. So that one's going to be a little short. If it comes down too far, it's too short, because you need this to be the same length as that. So at the top of the roof of that is where your wrist starts, and then your hand goes there. So I have to bring this up. So that was going to stop right here. Let me use blue. This one's going to stop right here. And this one is going to start right there. And the same thing with this side, unless you have your hand up or out or something like that. So since these guys have their hands up, let's put the hands up. Put your hands up like that and like that. So in the beginning, we're going to use a rectangle in all the arms and legs. As you get better drawing that rectangle, as I say, once you turn it, you'll start to see it become a cylinder. So if this person is, if one arm is out this way, and it's hard for me to show you on camera, and the other arm is coming this way, you'll see the opening, because that's not a rectangle anymore. You turned it to show that it's a cylinder. So if this hand is coming to me, I'm going to see that cylinder, that opening in that cylinder, and this part is going to be round. This is why I usually don't put the little ball here. This one is going out, so this is going to be like this, and this one's going to be like that. Let's see if I can show you that with a pen. It's going to be like this. This is round, and this has to be just as round as that. And then you add the rest of your circle. So since this is facing away from me, this is facing straight. It looks like that rectangle, but it's facing away from me. You'll start to see the opening from the bottom and not the top. So it's going to be like this. See the opening, and I'll just draw the whole thing through. And this is as round as this. Now, some people will put the ball there, but I don't, because you just put a point basically for your elbow. So now that is just the difference of, oh, that's the reason why you have that center line, because once you start turning, you'll see the side of this right there. Just like you will see the side of a person, which would be like this. But I don't want to make everything square, because then you'll get stuck drawing square shapes for people. But the more you turn, the more of the side you'll see, and I'll show you how to measure that to where it won't look so square. And of course you have your neck. You have your neck, and then of course the hand is going to be square again. And the same thing when you turn it to the side a little bit, you'll see some of the side of that square. And you're probably saying, Brian, why are you making a square hand? Because if you look at my hand and you take this off and you take my thumb off, it's basically a square. It's basically, no matter how I turn it, you'll see the side of the square, just like this. And then the top is flat minus the fingers. So if you have this, an easy way to do is like 1, 2, 3, 4. You have your 4 holes, and then you can put your fingers in the holes, and then you do your thumb. And your thumb is just a little ball on the side, and then this little piece like that. And that hand is turned wrong, but you get the idea. So that's why we start out with a square. So practice this. I don't want this video to be too long, because I want you guys to practice this, because we have a long way to go. So the next video, we're going to put clothes on these guys. I'm going to keep this paper, and we're going to use this paper again and put clothes on them, and probably this one as well, but I put ink on it, so it's hard to do over the ink. So go practice that. Remember the shortcut, and remember, everything is basically a shape. Everything is a shape. Everything is a shape. This is a shape. It's just, everything is a shape. This is a shape. You look at the shapes, and once you master your shapes, then you can draw anything, even this little mouse here. You might say, oh, I can't draw that mouse, but it's just a shape. It's just shape. This is the point of a roof or a triangle. This comes straight down, straight down. This is another point. This is another point. This is like a ball right here. You can really see all that with the lighting, bad lighting. So everything is just a shape. And once you learn how to draw these shapes, then it's really simple. So that's going to be it. And I will see you guys in the next video, where we will put clothes on these guys and maybe turn it around and show you different things. All right, so I will see you guys later. Keep drawing.